Welcome to Bleachers Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my boy B Foster, man, and it is a strange day. I mean, we're doing a show today, man. I don't think we've done a show on a Saturday
ever.
Okay, I'm gonna put it like this. Me and Foster literally have no life. So I know the weather's nice out there. I know everything is good, but we have nothing else to do. So we might as well drop something. And I asked Foster the question, right? Because I was just sitting here thinking, are we ready? Because the first preseason game is August 8th. August 8th versus the Giants. And that's 3 weeks away. A little less than 3 weeks away. Because the game is in the middle of the week. Not middle of the week, but it's not.
Probably Friday.
It's on a Friday. Mm-hmm. So it's 20 days away. So preseason is here. They're practicing. They're getting ready. And I was just thinking, I said, let me call Foster, right? Because I had a question. How comfortable are you with this roster going into the 2024-25 season? I know we did some changes. I know there was a lot of upgrades. We've talked about those. But I'm asking you, Foster, how comfortable are you with this roster heading into the upcoming season without making any more moves? Major moves. I say major moves because there's going to be some moves, but
I've never been so comfortable. Like this is a top 5 roster. This is the compilation of what we've done this year. I've never seen a roster so ready to take on the world at this point. It's not perfect. But I don't see anything where I'm just like, how do we miss? How do we not address it in some kind of way? I feel like we've covered a lot of bases, and I feel like we're ready. I'm excited for the competition and some of these battles because we are deep, and I feel like I don't think that every position as far as the depth chart, I don't feel like it's even close to being set in stone. So yeah, I'm ready.
And you know what? I am tripping, Foster. Pay was so nice to send me this video. I gotta remind the people to subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers. Wrong one. Subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube, and also for your podcast audio feeds. Subscribe to any of the podcast streaming platforms. Bleachers to Speakers FFSN in your search, and you'll find the logo. I'm going to show it again. That's the YouTube, and that's where you will find any of our podcast audio. Just make sure you're following so that notification bell lights up, and whenever we drop, you'll get a notification. You'll be able to listen, download the episodes, check us out. I think you remember last year, right before the start of the season, how the anticipation was for the fans. 2 years ago, the Lions ended the season short of the playoffs, but they went 8-2 the last 10 games, and the excitement was in the air. And heading into that Kansas City game, there was a confidence in this team I hadn't seen in a very, very long time. There was a level of expectancy that I hadn't seen, and we were facing the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City for the first game. And the people here, the fans in Detroit, they didn't back down. They were saying how the Lions should win this game. And and I'm not going to get into what happened to the game, even though the Lions won, but I'm just saying, leading up, there was a feeling of comfort and confidence that I hadn't seen, and I sense that now as well, right? And you got these other teams in the division that have made improvements to their roster as well. The Detroit was, no doubt the best team in the division last year, but there was some late play by the slow starters, and I want to be specific. The Bears started off slow, the Vikings started off slow, and they still had a chance to, uh, at least make it look close as far as winning the division last year, right? Uh, Green Bay made a run. It was the Lions to lose, though. Lions were in the driver's seat most of the season as far as winning the division, and it was up to the Lions. And I think it was the back-to-back games versus Minnesota that would have determined what was going to happen. And Detroit won those games. The Lions won both those games, both here and away, but they were not blowouts by the stretch at all. They were close games. They were tightly played games. So, but there's a lot of improvements around us in the division. It's a lot of improvements within the NFL. And I'm going to say, Foster, my biggest issue last year was the defensive back play, right? I was very, very uncomfortable and disappointed with how the Lions defensive backfield performed. Beginning of the season, Cam Sutton held up pretty well. And I'm talking about last year. He held up pretty well at the beginning of the season, and it tended to not last, right? The other side, it was by committee. There was no one that won that other corner position opposite of Sutton. It was by committee. It was like whoever had the hot hand, whoever was playing well that week, that's who played the position.
Especially when Mosley got hurt.
Yeah. I mean, we had expectancy for Mosley, and Mosley came in and he got hurt immediately. I think it was his first play back. Immediately. Yeah. So here you have the Lions playing most of the year from the defensive back position not very well. And you can attribute that to whatever you may. Some might even say, hey, the lack of a pass rush, consistent pass rush plays a part, because I do believe that your corner is only good as your pass rush. And if you don't have a solidified second corner, it just compounds the issue. So my biggest issue was the actual depth chart of the cornerback position, and that was supremely addressed this offseason. Foster, if you can take us through the offseason moves at the defensive back position, at the, let them know, because I can talk all day, but I'm gonna let you since I took you out of your Saturday evening festivities, I'll let you tell the people.
So we completely retooled the secondary. We went out and signed Amik Robertson from the Oakland Raiders.
See, I almost forgot about mentioning him, but go ahead.
Yeah, I had to look at the depth chart real quick because he was one of those guys, amongst all of it, he's a guy that, and I feel like he's got a chip on his shoulders. When you follow him on social media, he feels like people, he really feels like people are sleeping on him. So he is determined to make a difference this year. And I always remember that one-handed, I don't know if he intercepted. Yeah, I think he ended up snagging it down, but it was, because he's quite a bit short. He's like 5'9", but he went up and snagged the ball against the Packers with one hand, where he's
two hands, but he was in the air a very long time.
With just anyway, so you got Amik Robertson, who is slotted right now as our starting nickelback. But of course, we drafted two corners in the first two picks. We got Terrion Arnold, who looks to be the starting cornerback opposite of Carlton Davis, who we also traded for. And then we got Ennis Registraw, who right now is behind Amik Robertson at that other nickelback position.
To be expected.
Yes, absolutely. Especially to start. There's no reason to hand over a starting position to the rookie, to a rookie. But outside of that, we're bringing back Mosley, who didn't play at all last year, outside of a couple plays. I really don't have a lot of expectations for him, and luckily we don't really have to at this point. But I think that is, obviously Kirby Joseph was already here, Brian Branch was already here, if he's been here a couple of years. So I mean, that's going to be a deep room. Like I think on any given day in camp, you're going to have a different guy having showcase, show out performances. But that's going to be, I mean, I'm always just biased to the defensive back room in general, but that's going to be a fun one to watch develop.
For sure. With those D-backs, retooling the defensive backfield was something that not only did me and Foster see, that they had to see it, because they definitely went and said, hey, we need to get better on the defensive back front. And the second problem that I noticed from the defense, and we're going to talk about offense as well. Second problem was the consistent pass rush. Now, I think Hutch wound up with 11, right? 11 sacks, something like that. But you got to remember, those first 3 or 4 games, he didn't have any. I know he didn't have any versus Seattle, which was the second game. But he got his in bunches. Like, he'll go quiet for a couple of games, and then he'll go 2 or 3. Go quiet a couple games, then he'll get. We need him to get, home at least once a game. I know 16 is a big number. However, that consistent, threat on Hutch's side. And then there was, like, the other defensive end was played by committee. There was no one that said, hey, this is our other starting rush end. We didn't have that. And I think in my opinion, it was addressed. And I felt like we could have probably addressed that a little bit better. But as it stands, I have to wait and see what Davenport brings to the table. He's the wild card in this. He's a very good player when healthy. The problem is he hasn't been healthy. We still have Houston on the other end. And Foster, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you talk about the defensive.
I mean, hopefully we have a healthy Houston, a healthy Davenport. I think it's going to be a edge rusher by committee, but we'll have a lot of guys we'll be able to throw at them. You can't forget about Josh Pascal. Frank Kaminsky is definitely going to get some reps. And then we have the emergence of, we were bringing in the guy from Canada, Betts, who had a ton of sacks. And of course, somebody else is going to have to play in reserve of Hutch on an occasion as well. But you got the guy from Canada who might be able to bring something, and then you got wild cards like Mekhi Wingo, who.
Oh, I'm hearing things out of that camp about him.
Yes, so there's always, he's a guy that I don't think is necessarily expected to. He's probably in the Broderick Martin realm of things. So, like, you pick him up and stash him for a while. But I mean, essentially on paper, he's a guy that could possibly be a threat as well. I think he's going to play. I think he's going to play some inside as well. So, it's going to be a edge by committee on the other side, but with a stronger secondary and a strengthened interior with a DJ Reader. I think that the combination of all those factors are going to make that side of the edge that much more dangerous by itself.
Let's get to a quick break, and I got a point to make after that, because you mentioned something about the other defensive end by committee. I'm going to address that. So for those that's listening, you're going to hear some ads. For those that are watching, we'll be back in like 10 seconds. Yeah, I'm just going to throw this up again because I want to remind the people what to do out there. Subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers and go to your nearest podcast streaming platform. Check us out there. Just put in Bleachers to Speakers, FFSN in your search. Follow us. Make sure that notification bell lights up so whenever we do a show, you'll be able to get an alert saying, hey, we're here. Foster, we talked about the problem last year with the cornerbacks opposite of Cam Sutton by committee, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And we just mentioned about this year, the defensive ends, the opposite of Hutch, are going to probably be by committee because of the unknown factors, right? That's okay. I don't mind a defensive end by committee type of thing, fresh bodies. I think when it comes to corners, it's more important for the reps to be out there and be comfortable, to be loose. I need a corner that's going to be there all the time. We can bring in fresh bodies at the defensive end position. That doesn't bother me, and I don't mind it being a defensive end by committee, long as it's productive. Like if we have Hutch that gets double-digit sacks, and the other side gets double-digit sacks by committee, I don't mind that. Foster, what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on what?
Your thoughts on a defensive end by committee?
I like it. I mean, it's going to, one thing about the offensive line, they don't rotate in and out. You got the same guy playing that tackle position every play. So if you can keep fresh bodies out there and have somebody that's able to do their job of just getting to the passer on obviously on the obvious passing downs, I don't think that hurts you. And if you have one particular guy that stands out that is consistently getting the job done, you can always focus more on them getting as many reps as they can get. So being deep at any position is always a good thing, but certainly when when it is a pass happy league at this point, having as many guys that can get after the quarterback as possible is always a positive.
Need those guys fresh. You need those. I mean, even with the amount of defensive ends that we have, you can give Hutch a break. If Hutch doesn't have to be out there every single, because if you watch Hutch play, that's a nonstop motor. He's one thing. While he might lack sacks in certain games, the effort is there every single down. Like it's there. He's trying to get there. And I think right now, going into his third season, he is no longer a secret. They are going to scheme against Hutch. They're going to chip him. They're going to do all these because they know he's there. It's no longer a secret. His rookie season was not a fluke. Last year, he came and showed them, hey, I am here with double-digit sacks. Great player. He's a great player, and he's shown that. So they're going to do whatever he's in other teams' game plan. You have to scheme against it because there's just no way you don't account for that man when it comes to a game plan. So the other side has to do their part. Now, another important thing is with the addition. I love the addition of DJ Reader. I remember, but right before he was acquired, I'm like, man, we need help on the defensive end front. And then next thing you know, they signed DJ Reader, and I'm like, this also helps. Can you imagine that defensive, the interior defense with Aleem and Reader? That's insane.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good defensive front. And then you put Hutch on the one side, and let's say you do have a healthy Davenport for the most part. I'm very comfortable with those front four. The linebacking is the wild card in this defense because I think we'll be okay and we'll be much better in the defensive backfield. And I think our strength last year was the defensive end. I mean, the defensive line, and I think we're better at that unit as well with the acquisitions of Davenport and DJ Reader and drafting Mackay. I think we're much better off on the defensive line, but that wild card position group is the linebacker. Foster, who we got a linebacker?
So I think the scheme that we normally run is a 4-2. So the two primary linebackers are Alex Anzalone and Derek Barnes, but you're gonna see a lot of Jack Campbell, as we saw a decent amount last year of Jack Campbell, but I think you're gonna see him come back even stronger and better. Obviously we have I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Maben.
Yes.
Jalen Reeves Maben. He's going to continue to provide depth. Obviously, he was a Pro Bowl last year as far as the special team is concerned. But just to elaborate on the DJ Reader signing, I mean, I think he's going to be like I think he's probably one of the most slept on acquisitions, just for the simple fact is that you're not going to be able to double Hutch when you got a guy like DJ Reader that's taking up two blockers that are Lee McNeil. It's going to make it to where Hutch is going to get a lot more one-on-one opportunities because, you think he gets held a lot one-on-one. When it's two of them, he's really getting the work.
Yeah.
But this was a top 5 rush defense already without DJ Reader, with a defensive tackle by committee on the other end of Aleem McNeil with Isaiah Buggs and what was the guy's name? There was another guy that played a lot. Jones was his name. Jones, but nah, I think his last name was Jones. But
I can't think of it, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Benito Jones.
Okay.
Yes. So it's just a vast improvement to a defense, a front seven that was already pretty strong, and all of those aspects are going to help the other side. The secondary being strong is going to help the defensive line get more sacks, but also the defensive line getting more pressure is going to take the stress off the secondary. So, yeah, we're just strong all the way around the board. And yeah, I'm ready.
I tell you what, Foster, I didn't really appreciate Anzalone until like mid-season last year. I know the years prior I was like, but one thing I noticed, he's very, very good in coverage. He's a very good coverage linebacker. He's very good in coverage. And then Barnes stepped it up. I figured when he was drafted, there was a couple of preseason games, his rookie season, where I said, hey, man, this guy can play. And he never cracked the lineup like that. But we started to see last year how he started to emerge, making some plays. He got hurt in the playoffs, right?
This past year?
Yeah, he got hurt.
That might be right, yeah.
In the playoff game, and we noticed he was missing. Like, his play is very vital going into this season. Jack Campbell, I'm hearing that he's had a great offseason as far as being in shape, as far as studying the playbooks and just having a good work ethic in the offseason. I'm hearing good things from Jack Campbell. I think he's going to be very good. And that was another person where I wasn't too happy about them drafting. I'm gonna tell you that. But usually when I say somebody that's not good or they shouldn't have drafted, they blow the roof off. It's like, shut up, June. You don't know what you're talking about. As far as the offense, there were 2 major moves that I think were essential going into this season, and they weren't acquisition. These were signings. You got your guy, Amara St. Brown. You locked him in for an extension. You got your quarterback for the next several years. You locked him in an extension. Also, wild card, Ben Johnson returned, which we thought he was gone.
Again.
Like, we just knew the next head coaching job that was available, he was going to get. And he decided to stay. So that makes this offensive unit a lot more cohesive as far as comfortability. You got your two running backs. We lost Reynolds. And
no. I think we resigned Reynolds.
the wide receiver.
Oh, I'm thinking of the running back.
Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah. Josh Reynolds. I was about to say, did something happen that I don't know
Right,
about?
right. It's no.
The wide receiver, Josh Reynolds.
Yes.
The one we were pointing the finger at for the national the NFC championship loss. We were pointing the finger at Josh. Pardon me. We lost Josh Reynolds. Where'd he go? Denver? I think he went to Denver.
Yeah.
I think he went to the Broncos as a free agent. And I thought the draft didn't go anywhere I thought it would go, right? I'm thinking first round, corner or rush in, second round, corner or rush in, third round, wide receiver, or corner, wide receiver, rush in. That's what I thought, right? And the Lions did not draft a wide receiver. They didn't draft a wide receiver.
Or maybe at the end. Did they get one at the end? Or nah, maybe they didn't get one at all.
No, they got
they signed some guys, maybe.
Some undrafted free agents.
Right.
But I think they're depending upon a full season from Donovan Peoples-Jones for that Josh Reynolds position. And they're also very confident in Jamo. They are very confident in what Jamo will have a full season to play. He hasn't played a full season yet, and he'll have a full season. He is a threat. So he could very well be that person that takes Josh Reynolds' position, and you could use what's the other little wide receiver name? Foster.
Khalif Raymond.
You could put Khalif. No, I wouldn't do that though.
Why?
I don't want to move. I want St. Brown to play the same stuff. I wouldn't change anything that he's done.
Yeah. Whatever he's doing. Yeah,
we're not moving him to the outside. No, he's going to do the same things he's been doing. I don't want tinker with that at all. It's too productive. He's shown a consistency of being productive. That's whatever plays you had for him before, he should be still, you know what I'm saying? Don't move him anywhere. Let him play the same position he's been playing. So you could throw Donovan Peoples-Jones on one side, and then you got Sam Laporta. I've been watching a lot of film on him in the offseason, and he gets open. He gets open downfield. He's a big target, and he moves pretty well. So as far as his speed, he has decent speed, very decent. I don't want to say elite speed at the tight end position, but he has very good speed at tight end position. He gets open, and it's going to be the off. I think the offense is going to be one we don't have to worry about. I think Gibbs with his second year, and like I said, the crazy thing about it though, Foster, is Gibbs is no longer a secret. No longer a secret. They're aware of what he can do and what he's going to do. I don't think, and then Montgomery, I don't want to get to the point to where we're not appreciating where we're not appreciating what Montgomery brings, because when they're both playing, it's a hell of a tandem back there. Both of them are threats out the backfield, running the ball. Montgomery's going to get you those tough 4 or 5 yards, not getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage, just making the right cuts and read, good vision. What game was that where he broke the where he ran? Was it against Tampa Bay or was it against
Chargers.
Chargers? Where he's a lot faster than what we thought. I mean, I'm not saying he's Gibbs fast, but he's fast enough to where he can take it to the house. So that offense, don't tinker with it. Let Ben put a few more wrinkles in it. Stick to the plan. I think the offense is going to be very, very good once again. There's so many weapons on there, and the wild card is Goff. I think if Goff can continue to have good games and get the ball to the right people, not make many mistakes, this offense will be very, very, very good. Foster, what do you think about this offense?
Well, I wanted to elaborate a little bit on the Donovan Peoples-Jones situation. Obviously, he's going to be pivotal to solidifying the top 3 wide receivers. I think we all are ready for J-Mo to break out this season, but I think that Donovan Peoples-Jones he's only a year removed from a 900-yard season receiving wise with the Cleveland Browns. I think he was just ended up being the odd man out with guys like Amari Cooper and their tight end Joku, guys like that kind of coming in there and taking a lot of pass opportunities away from him. But he is going to be our deep threat, and he's going to be our biggest receiver. He's 6'2", he's 200 plus pounds, and he averages in his career 15 yards per catch. He only had, I think, 7 targets. I think he only had 5 catches once he came to Detroit. But 3 of those 5 catches were for first down. So he's a guy that's going to be a threat to get 10 plus yards every time he touches the ball. And I think that one thing that is certain about Ben Johnson's offense is it's complicated, and it's not an offense that you can just jump right into and master. We saw the adjustment that it took for Jameson Williams to get an understanding for what's going on. And I was watching a clip about TJ Hawkinson, and he said that himself, that when Ben Johnson took over the offense, there was an adjustment period for him. And he was already on the team. So
right.
I think that he was just I think Donovan Peoples-Jones was just when they traded for him, he was just kind of thrown in there, and was probably just lost, honestly. I don't think that he really had an opportunity to get a full grasp of the offense in the midst of a playoff run. So with him having a full off season and time to really master things, I think that he is still in the physical prime of his career to where he can make a major impact on the team. I feel like you were about to say something, though.
Yeah, and one of the biggest adjustments when you have a different offensive coordinators is the verbiage. And there's a lot of issues when rookies come in as well. The verbiage is so different, and just learning the verbiage is a feat in itself. And one thing about this, you have the same offensive coordinator. The rookies have to have that learning curve, of course, but the people that's been there, which is most of the people, most of the offensive line, they're going to relish in this offense because they know there's not much, like, you're going to get new plays, new wrinkles, but they don't the key players, Laporta, St. Brown, Goff, Gibbs, Montgomery, they don't have to go crazy about not knowing the verbiage, right? And one of the things that Hawkinson was talking about was it could be one play that has it can be the same play to the opposite side, but it's totally different verbiage.
Yep, cold words.
So you have to know what they're talking about, and that's the biggest barrier of learning a new offense is the verbiage. I remember Charlie Batch a long time ago. I'm telling my age, where he came.
I remember Charlie Batch.
He came in as the quarterback, and he said the biggest obstacle for him was the verbiage. learning the verbiage. It wasn't the plays, it was the verbiage, understanding what to say and understanding what the calls were and the protection and all this stuff. So everybody be on the same page. So it's a lot more entailed than what we would think or what we could ever imagine. Just imagine you taking a new job in a totally different field and it's in a different language. And you have to learn the language. So it's it's not one of those things that's easy to do. And luckily for the Lions, we got the same guy that's been there a few years, got a few years under his belt. The time is now. Now, I think we're going to take one more break and then we'll wrap it up. But I got a question for you on the other side, Foster. I'm going to say this again before we get out of here. Subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. Get those subs up for us. We're trying to get to 200 subs by the end of next week. Let's set a goal there. I mean, we've been sitting on the hundreds for a little while. Let's get these subs up. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Foster, my question for you is it's kind of crazy, but what happens if the Lions don't do as well as we all anticipate?
Then we
For
don't.
me, it's levels, but I'll let you.
I think realistically, we all know we are up against.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, like you said, there's levels. Like, are we talking? If you're talking about,
let's say, for instance, when I say levels, 17 games, and you go 8-9. It's going to be a mess.
Yes.
It's going to be a mess.
Starting with, and I think that starting with the scrutiny of signing the extension for Goff. That I don't even want to talk about. I don't even want to talk like that. But
will be in question. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's dark. It's really dark.
That's a whole different animal there.
Yeah.
But let's say, for instance, you get into the playoffs, first round exit.
I mean, it's disappointing. I mean, it'd be nice to have consecutive years of being in the playoffs, but of course, I think the majority of this fan base is thinking bare minimum NFC championship games, but we really would love to be in the Super Bowl.
I want to stress 2 years in the playoff in a row is a big feat around here.
For sure.
Like, it doesn't happen like that. There was a long drought of playoff appearances, a very, very long drought of playoff wins, right? Prior to last year, the last win was in 92. Or was it 91? 91 versus Dallas. That was the last playoff win prior to last year. And we had a couple playoff wins this year. So that says a whole lot. But I will say, for me, before I can put a gauge on how big of a disappointment according to my expectations, because I expect nothing less than the NFC Championship, right? I expect another shot to make it to the Super Bowl. That's my expectation. However, depending upon what happens, that could curb my expectations. For instance, I don't even want to get into that. I don't even want to speak into anything bad.
Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this.
There are some things that could curb my enthusiasm, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that I think could go on that will very well fulfill my expectancy needs. Or, I think NFC Championship at worst for this upcoming season. Could be wrong, but looking at how we played 2 years ago. The last 10 games going forward last year, this Lions team is trending up. You agree, Foster?
Absolutely.
So there's an expectation of this. I don't see a precipitous letdown going into this next season because I've seen nothing but the culture change and I've seen an upgrade in the roster going forward. The roster. The problem was the D-backs. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna reiterate this. I was very disappointed with the defensive backfield. CD Lamb went crazy versus us. Third and I don't know how long it was, and he gets a 90-something yard touchdown, walks into the end zone. That doesn't happen versus very good defensive teams. Just happen. I mean, I can give up a first down. I can give up a long. I don't give up a 90-something yard touchdown third and long. No, shouldn't happen. Not with a good defense. And what Justin Jefferson went crazy 2 games in a row, and they didn't have a set quarterback. They had their third stringer out there.
Yeah.
And here he is.
Mullins,
Here he is. Just Justin. I mean, I understand Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL, but at the same time, got Mullins back there. You can't let him do that. But Lions made plays when they needed to play and make plays versus those. They made those games a lot closer than they needed to be. But I'm very, very confident in this team going forward. That game on the 8th, that preseason game, I'm going to look into going. And I do anticipate it being sold out. Probably will. We don't see, but then again, that game is on a Friday. No.
Because it's a Friday, you think it's not going to be a sold out game?
That game is on a Thursday.
I don't think that matters.
That game is on a Thursday. And the reason why I know, because I know that I'm off on August 2nd, and that's a Friday. So that game would have to be on a Thursday. Look it up, Foster. Could be wrong.
The 8th is in New York, though.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to that game. I didn't know it was in New York, so scratch all of that. I don't care when it is. I will be front row in the living room. I'll be watching it like it's a playoff game.
How many? They got 3 games now?
3.
Okay, and it's crazy because cheapest ticket in New York is $3, right? Cheapest ticket in Kansas City for the second preseason game is $36. Cheapest ticket in Detroit for the lone preseason game, $62. Cheapest.
There's no way I'm going to a preseason game for $62. Kick rocks, Mr. Ford.
And that's going to put you up top.
Yeah, kick rocks. No. Not doing it.
For $3, you can go in New York.
Yeah. I've been telling the wife, we got to move to New York.
Yeah.
There's benefits there.
Yeah, that may be the one. To see the Lions play for cheap.
I just can't. Can you pay $62? Are you willing to pay $62 for a preseason game, Foster?
I went last year when we played in New York. Ain't no way it was $62. There's just no way.
No.
We sat in the lower bowl too.
Look here, to the Ford family, you guys are getting beside yourselves. We know we got a good football team, but don't do this. Don't do this. The preseason game should be like $10.
I mean, supply and demand. If people are willing to go, why would you make it that cheap?
Foster, you always got to be the voice of freaking reason, man.
Hey, I'm a businessman myself.
That you are. I'll give you that. Anyway, you got any last words before we get out of here?
Support my business.
Wait, hold on. Before we get at, didn't you just did a Tiger show on Bleachers and Speakers where you
I
can
did.
buy Corner
I
to
did.
Copa.
Quick joint.
Ladies and gentlemen, look at this young man. He just did a Tiger show wearing Milwaukee Brewers gear.
And you always get the hat wrong. It's Seattle Mariners.
Oh, my bad.
Mr. Boston Red Sox.
It's not what I wanted to say though, because the pitchfork is down. I mean, hey, I could have. Yeah. You're wearing a Seattle Mariners hat doing a Tiger show.
It's my favorite hat. It's my favorite hat.
Oh, I bet. I bet on BD. I bet.
It's a nice hat.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna do this again because I gotta pay for this. Subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers, YouTube. Subscribe, follow us on any podcast streaming platforms. That's YouTube Music.
Did I do that? I think I did.
Spotify. I did that.
Oh, okay.
Spotify.
I thought I clicked off of it by accident.
No. Apple Podcasts. You're ruining my flow here, Foster.
Hey, you got it.
You're mixing everything up, Foster. Subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers. I don't even want to say it no more. Just follow us on all podcast streaming platforms. Type in Bleachers to Speakers FFSN in your search, and I messed that up. Bleachers to Speakers FFSN in your search. Follow us, download the episodes. Make sure you follow us so when we drop, you'll get that notification and you can listen to us. We're good to listen to while you're cleaning the house, while you're waiting for a game to come on, just chilling. Check out the podcast on the audio stream. That's pretty dope. That you can find us there if you miss a YouTube drop or anything like that. Sometimes you're driving and you don't want to watch. You can't watch YouTube while you're driving, but you can listen to us on Spotify and those other platforms while you're driving. So, Foster, anything else?
Me and Coach got a show tomorrow. Obviously, the Tigers have been on the All-Star break for the majority of the week, but we've taken 2 of 3 from so far 2 or 3 from the Toronto Blue Jays. Hopefully, we'll sweep tomorrow, but we'll be recapping that series as well as talking about the trade deadline, whether we want to buy or sell. We're riding a high right now, so the theme is buy, which is the title of the last episode or the last show I did. So yeah, we're definitely going to talk about the trade deadline and the hot streak the Tigers have been on.
How good does it feel to go talk about the Tigers after the All-Star break and not saying sell? That's usually the theme going into the second half of the season for the Tigers as of late. Sell. Fire sale.
Right. No, it feels great. I feel like with the seasons that we have started doing the podcast, we've been lucky with having some good teams to start off that to start that off for us. And the Tigers have been bad for a while, and it's nice to have something to talk about where it's in question. Like, it hasn't been in question for quite some time, but Scott Harris has some serious decisions to make going into this trade deadline, and we're only 2 weeks off of it. So we need to win every last game until the final day of the trade deadline to really make the seat hot for him, because he needs to do his job.
Absolutely. And we will be back here on Wednesday. We have our NFC North Division weekly show that we do with our FFSN affiliates from Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. We'll be doing a show with those guys on Wednesday about 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's crazy because we don't do any other line show but that during the week. So this week we've done 2. It looks like 2 because we did one Wednesday with the NFC North. But we wanted to stop in and do something today. Foster, I appreciate you taking your time out for the show. I know it's Saturday. I know you got things to do, and I appreciate you. Tune in to us on tomorrow for Foster's Corner to Copa, where he's talking Tigers baseball with Coach. And on Wednesday, we'll be back here with our NFC North Division counterparts, and we'll talk some more football. Until then, y'all be good, be safe, have a great weekend.